is a CBS 12 News severe weather alert.
I'm CBS 12 meteorologist Jeff Baradelli. We just got the 8 o'clock advisory on Hurricane Irma, and it's pounding the Turks and Caicos Islands. There is very little, if any, change. Winds are still 175 miles an hour, and the pressure has actually dropped a little bit, indicating that it's not weakening, let's put it that way, and it is slamming the Turks and Caicos Islands as we speak right now. We have hurricane warnings out for the Bahamas, hurricane watches out from Palm Beach south through Miami and the Keys. I do think a hurricane watch is likely to be issued later tonight or tomorrow morning on the Treasure Coast. And a storm surge watch is in effect, by the way, for Palm Beach County south as well. That will also likely be extended to the north for about 5 to 10 feet of storm surge in some places. There's the latest numbers right there. Winds 175 miles an hour, pressure 919. Here it is Saturday, beginning to weaken a little bit. It's probably feeling a little bit of shear. There's going to be some wind shear ahead of the state of Florida and also feeling Cuba. So we are kind of hoping that it does weaken a little bit over the water, but it's not a definite. As we head into Sunday, though, it should weaken as it makes landfall. Now, the middle of the cone is right across Miami-Dade, Broward, and into western Palm Beach County, which puts eastern Palm Beach County in the eastern part of the eye wall, which is the strongest part of the eye wall. Now, of course, it could move further west, and the average error here is about 150 miles or so, so it could be 150 miles off, which means it could end up in the eastern Gulf, or it could end up out here towards Freeport in the Bahamas, but we are right there in the middle, unfortunately. At 8 p.m., the strongest winds will be on the Treasure Coast, and then the storm will move into Georgia and South Carolina. Here's a look at the computer models, and you can see there are two camps, one right up our coast, European just west of Lake Okeechobee, and then another camp down here, but they all kind of converge right here on east, central, and south Florida, and that means some of the strongest winds could very well be here, and we have to prepare for the worst. I mean, it's possible we may dodge a little bit of a bullet, but it's becoming less and less likely. So here we are Sunday at 2 a.m., winds gusting to 104 miles an hour in Key Largo. So these are wind gusts, not sustained winds. As we head into Sunday morning, we start to get the wind gusts over hurricane force in places like Fort Lauderdale, and the hurricane force winds are knocking on the door of Boca Raton. Look at that wind in Miami, 114 miles an hour. During the afternoon, we could see wind gusts over 120 miles an hour in West Palm Beach, and eventually all those strong winds are likely to translate into the Treasure Coast as well. So the bottom line is, although it's possible we could see some shifts and fluctuations, it's getting more and more likely that we are going to get hit directly by a very powerful and dangerous Category 4 or Category 5 storm. So take it seriously. You'll have to start making some decisions tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow is really the last day to make decisions, because Saturday the wind is going to start to blow. Keep it tuned here, and we'll keep you updated.
This is a CBS 12 News severe weather alert. This is a CBS 12 News severe weather alert.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm CBS 12 meteorologist Jeff Baradelli. The storm continues to move over the Turks and Caicos Islands as an extremely dangerous Category 5 hurricane with winds 175 miles an hour. It has not weakened. In fact, the pressure has dropped a little bit, indicating that it's holding its own, if not even getting a little stronger right now. The hope is that it will weaken as it heads towards the west on Saturday and then makes that turn. Landfall is likely Sunday morning somewhere on the south coast of Florida. Could be the Keys, could be up to around Homestead, could even be further towards the east, but it's going to be somewhere in this cone that you see. The middle of the cone right here takes the storm right over Lake Okeechobee, with winds likely to be sustained over 120, maybe 130 miles an hour in some spots. Could see gusts even higher than that. What that means for you is those are extremely dangerous and destructive winds. So you need to be in a safe and secure structure to survive this storm. So make sure you have your plans made, because tomorrow is the last day to implement those plans. The storm is likely to be on the Treasure Coast with the strongest winds Sunday evening, and then the storm will start to wind down and move away on Monday and again on Tuesday. Computer models right now all focused on Florida. Even the ones that are a little further to the east and the ones further to the west, they all kind of converge. Watch this. These will come up north right here and converge right near Lake Okeechobee. And so the bottom line is, with a track like that, everybody in South Florida, West Coast and East Coast, are in the hurricane force winds. That's because the wind field is actually very large with this system. The hurricane force winds are about 100, 120 miles in diameter across. So here we are on Sunday at 2 a.m. Notice that those 60-mile-an-hour winds are beginning to get into Boca Raton. Hurricane force winds moving into Miami. Here we are Sunday morning. Looks like the hurricane force winds getting in around 8 a.m., give or take. This won't be exactly right. And notice there could be gusts as high as 150 miles miles an hour. If it takes this track, could shift a little, but right now this is the track that is forecast. And the tropical storm force 60-mile-an-hour winds get into Stewart by around 8 o'clock in the morning. The worst of the weather is going to be Sunday afternoon and then Sunday evening as we head into the Treasure Coast. So here is the bottom line. There's a high potential for a direct hit here in South Florida. Now, of course, it could veer. It could move a little bit further away, and that would spare us the worst of this. But I think at the very least, we're going to see hurricane force winds across a good part of our area. The main impact is going to be Sunday and probably into Monday morning. It'll be squally Saturday, but the worst of it is going to definitely be Sunday. The bottom line is evacuate if you're ordered to do so. And again, as I mentioned before, any final decisions, any plans that you're talking about need to be implemented by tomorrow. Keep it tuned here, and I'll keep you updated. And by the way, I'm going to do a Facebook Live coming up probably in about 30 minutes or so on my Facebook page. So follow me at facebook.com/JeffWeather.
This is a CBS 12 News Severe Weather Alert.